All right, good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Hey, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Kingdom Life Experience podcast tonight. Hey, tonight is going to be an amazing night. Tonight's going to be a life-changing night. Tonight's going to be a blessed night. So do us a favor. Make sure you share, you like, you tag, you invite. Start a watch party tonight. Get as many people as you can to be a part of the Kingdom Life Experience podcast. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing tonight. So listen, I need y'all to do us a favor. Make sure you go to Amazon. Make sure you go to the Roku store, the Apple store, and make sure you download the Kingdom Life Experience podcast tonight. Please do that. But also download our church app. It's going to be life-changing and encouraging for you. You want to stay abreast of all things that are Kingdom Life Faith Center. So do us a favor. Make sure you do that. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you for doing that. But listen, I need y'all to come on in this morning and make sure you share, you like, you tag, you invite, start a watch party tonight. Get as many people as you can to come on tonight. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be talking about unforgiveness tonight. And listen, if you are able to hear us very well tonight, if you're being blessed so far, hey, I want you to type on the screen that you can hear us. Hey, before we get started, I want to give some good shout outs to people tonight. Shout out to my wife, Pastor Sophia, who's on tonight. Shout out to Minister Kim Simmons, who's on tonight. Good to see you. Hey, Miss Janet Marshall is in the house. Miss Tiffany Barnes is in the house tonight. Good to see you guys. Miss Sheila T. Roby is on tonight. So good to see you guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. But listen, I want to play a quick clip that'll lead us into what it is that we are getting ready to talk about tonight. So y'all bear witness with us tonight. We don't own the rights to this video, but we believe it'll speak volumes to what we're getting ready to talk about tonight. All right.
You know, we've been taught in our culture that forgiveness comes as a result of apology.
Right.
That's not the way that it works.
No.
Because the reality is that if you don't have the willingness to forgive, no apology will do. So you have to forgive before the apology. And here's the beauty of it. If you can forgive before the apology, you don't need the apology. That was a lesson I had to learn with my dad, because my dad died and we never had a chance to really reconcile a lot of these issues. He would never have an opportunity to apologize for the fact that he wasn't there for certain things. But if I didn't forgive him, I'd be bound by that forever. And that's something that I think, you know, this is the maturity factor for you guys to kind of work through this, because there's going to be a tendency to say, well, doggone it, no. If you can't forgive, I don't care what he says. He could flip over 1,000 times. The apology, though, I'm not saying he doesn't need to apologize, but the apology is not for you, it's for him. Because healthy people own their own stuff.
Right.
That's why he needs to apologize, because it helps him orient what he's done in terms of his relationship with you and with others. So that's key. And to the degree that you're willing to forgive, That's going to determine the nature
And you
of
know
the
the reason you
relationship have.
forgive, say this as a woman at 49 years old, is the reason you forgive is because at some point, if you continue to be as smart and wise as you are, you realize that everybody, including your parents, first of all, they're just people. And part of the issue here, I think, is parents don't see you as the people that you are. There's my child, and I'm doing this for my child. So you're not seen as a person. You know, your friends see you as a, full and complete person. Your parents just sort of see you in whatever niche. And you do the same thing with your parents. You know, you get older and you realize, oh, my father had a life. My father had a life. My father had dreams. My father had goals, had ideas, had feelings that didn't just revolve around me. Because often when you're a kid, you think the whole world revolves around you. Your father's a whole nother separate person, just like you are. But one of the things I had to learn from my parents, coming from, broken home families, being with one relative 1 year and then somebody else the next, is that most people, unless they're cruel, are really just doing the best they know how at any given time. And when they know better, they do better. They're just doing the best they know how. And based upon what you all have been able to express here today, I know that victory is possible in your life in terms of having an improved relationship, because it begins with you being willing to speak the truth. And all powerful people realize this at some point. You are powerful based on your ability to ask for what you want. You cannot continue to sit back in your life and expect your fathers or your husband, at 21, we'll talk about this, your husband or anybody, your boss, your friends, to know what you want. You're old enough now, you're not 7 and 8 years old anymore. You're old enough now to be able to say, this is what I need from you, and I'm not getting this from you. And you cannot expect that even your parents know what that is. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You hear? Are you clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, we wanted to just start out with that type of video because we want to set the stage for what's going to take place tonight. One of the biggest things that I think we as humans face is the sometimes the unwillingness to forgive people. And so we want to battle that tonight. We're going to tackle that tonight. And I believe it's going to be life-changing tonight. So I need y'all to do us a favor. Share, like, tag, get invited. Start a watch party tonight. Get other people to come on and be a part of this Kingdom Life Experience podcast. So, hey, without further ado, we're going to bring to the stage tonight one of my spiritual daughters, one that I am so proud of. To really call my spiritual daughter, I got to be honest with you, she is somewhat just like her pastor, straightforward. She going to give it to you straight with no chaser. And that's my girl. I love her. So, hey, without further ado, let's welcome Minister Jackie Hankins, who's on tonight. Jackie, give the people a big shout out tonight.
Hi, everybody.
People are on tonight. Hey, my wife is watching us tonight. Miss Jennifer Smith is on tonight. Miss Tiffany Barnes, Minister Kim Simmons are on tonight. So, hey, they here to cheerlead for you tonight.
Hi, thank you.
So, listen, we gonna, huh?
I say maybe my heart will stop pounding fast.
You're going to be all right. But listen, I want to know, how have you been in the midst of this pandemic? How has everything gone for you in this pandemic?
I'm a little so-so. Like with everybody, it was kind of rough in the beginning, on the onset of it last year, because it was Jalea's last year of school. So she was kind of bummed out, and it was hard to have to get her through that, not being able to participate a lot for her last year in school. So we got past that hump, and it was okay, just like with everybody else. I believe it was kind of in and out, kind of hard, kind of different. Had to make the best of what we had. I was able to work from home, so that wasn't bad. And then after we kind of got used to it, but October, then I lost my mom. So then that's when it went right back to being hard for me. But other than that, all is well, and, time heals everything right now.
Yeah. Well, listen, I do have some questions I wanted to, we try to provide a safe environment for people when they come on, because sometimes we talk about hard things, and other times we just let our guests ease into certain things. But tonight we want to do some things about helping people tonight. And so one of my questions for you is this: just so the people will know, who is Jackie Hankins? Who is Jackie Hankins really? Who is she?
Who is Jackie? I'm a daughter. I'm a mother of Jaslyn and Jalea. Let me see. Well, I became a licensed minister up under you and Pastor First Lady Sophia now. I am referred to by family and friends as the host with the most. I can tear a microphone up. Look, Bam said that's my girl, so I'm one of Bam's best friends. I'm just everyday people, I make mistakes, man, do I make mistakes? Man, that's just me. So I've always been a people person. I've always been told I had good personality, good spirited. Even before I really started going to church, we was always in church, thanks to my dad's background with his family. So, and then of course my mom's background with my grandmother. So, Jackie is just Jackie. Jackie is Jacqueline when she has to be Jacqueline. And then Jackie is Jackie when she has to be Jackie. So that's that.
But you're also a college graduate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't say yeah like, oh, So I saw somebody's post the other day and it was like, my bachelor's is like a high school diploma. I'm like, shoot, man, tell me about it. Yes, but I am, and I'm grateful to God for that. I did go back to school when Jalea was born. I had to make some choices, and I had a pretty good job, I would say, for that time. I was working at the YMCA as a site director, but it just, I don't know. I always knew that I wanted to go back to school. So eventually I just made a decision. I quit my job working at the YMCA. I couldn't qualify for nothing. At that time, I just had Jaslyn, single mother, and I was trying to get, what was it, like Crystal Stairs or something. And it was like, oh, you made too much. You made too much. So I just was like, man, everybody around me was qualifying for different stuff. So I'm not going to lie, y'all, I quit my job. And then I made myself qualify for what I needed to qualify for. So I wouldn't suggest that for everybody, but God had his hands on me. So I had Jalea, went back, got my AA from Southwest, worked for a couple more years after that. Job laid us off at LA Unified, and I sought God. I talked to my grandmother, may she rest well. And I went back to school, went back to Cal State Dominguez, Tour Road, where I got my bachelor's in public administration. A lot of people, because I was always a preschool teacher and I worked at private schools, thought I was going for education. But when I went to talk to the counselor, they had a long list of math. And your girl don't do math like that. I know 2 + 2 is 4, but all that X, Y, and Z, I opted out. I looked over to the right. Public administration had 2 math class. Boom, that's what I got my bachelor's in. So I do have my bachelor's.
I just want to start laughing with you because you just straightforward. But anyway,
I can tell you, it was too much math. I have been out of school since '92, and I saw this math, and I'm like, nah, I can't. Nah, I don't want to do that. And public administration had 2 math classes. They had college level math and statistics. So that was that.
But listen, let's get into some things tonight. We're talking about forgiveness, and we're talking about, the role that it plays in people's lives, and we're talking about the power that it has. Can you talk a little bit about tonight instances where you came to realize how real forgiveness is and how real unforgiveness is? Can you talk about an instant like that?
How real unforgiveness is, it blocks you. If you don't believe in forgiveness, don't forgive and see how you feel. If you don't believe in forgiveness, you rob yourself of your joy. Like, honestly, I'm not going to say that I'm the quickest to forgive. I got some street in me, so I know how to be like, I'm cool, give me 50 feet. But I've always tried to stand on forgiveness, even when I wrestle with it. You know, I'm wrestling with some situations now, but I'm wrestling with it. But it's just like, I know that forgiveness is real because I've lived and I had to live it. So I know that forgiveness is real. Unforgiveness is just as real. I've talked to people that, you know, I could talk to somebody and they would be like, oh, I'm mad at this. I'm mad at this. So I'm thinking they're talking about something that just happened. And I could be like, well, when did this happen, sweetie? And they like, oh, when I was 3. I'm saying, oh, well, bless your heart. You can't go back that far and hold on to unforgiveness. You know, you have to forgive. So forgiveness is real. The more I find myself in a situation where I forgive, the better I feel. Yes, I said I'm not as quick to forgive probably as God will want me to. But I know that forgiveness is real. So don't forgive somebody and you won't have the inner peace that you need to have. When you forgive somebody, you will have that inner peace you need to have.
You know, let's talk about that inner peace. How important is that inner peace? How important is that peace?
For me, it's a lot. Now that I'm 46, I am not afraid to say it. You know, it's really important. Like, it's nothing more that I like than my peace. Nothing more. I will cut off, sorry to say, I'll cut off whoever I have to for a hot minute to work on me to keep my peace. So maybe I could wrestle with that thing. I could talk to God about that thing. I could talk to somebody else about that thing. Eventually, I know if I can't sleep well with it, then it's something that I have to do. So that's my inner me saying, okay, you know, you're not right. You know, you got to get this right. Or I'm wrestling with it because of who I am in God or who I'm striving to be. So I'm not perfect. I drop the ball. I make mistakes. You know, I do stuff I shouldn't. But one thing I will do and I will stand on is forgiveness. So it may not be right away. I'll tell y'all that. It may not be right away, but I don't sit well. My peace is not well in here if I know that I'm holding on to unforgiveness, especially if it's something that I can make right.
Now, you know what? Now that's a key point right there. Especially if I know I can make it right. To me, that's saying that I'm owning up to my responsibilities. I'm owning up to my mistakes. I did this. I can make this right. Or even if I didn't do it, if I see the relationship as being valuable, I can do what I need to do in order to fix it and make it right. Now, you can't make anybody else agree with that, do that. But at least you've done what you needed to do for your own inner peace.
Yes. It's really important. Like I said, I'm dealing with stuff now, you know, and I'm like, man, I can't sit well with this, or man, I can't, you know, but I think we had a talk before, and it's like hurt. You can be hurt. And I think depending on the level of hurt, it seems like you want to hold on to unforgiveness. Like, I'm cool. They not say nothing to me no more. They just don't know, you know, whatever comes to mind. But when you know that, well, for me, I'll say, because I know the things that God has done for me in my forgiveness, the only thing I can do is let that thing wrestle with me. And then I got to make the decision, because the Bible says to forgive. And it has a number attached to it. What is it? 70 times 70. That's a lot. I mean, that's what, 400 and something?
490 times.
Yeah. So it's like, don't keep doing it in the same day. But I know eventually I have to forgive you. I have to forgive people. It's important to me. And I don't know. Sometimes I'm, you know, I think I've gotten stronger in the line of forgiveness because I dealt with my mother. For those family and friends close to me, I'm not afraid to say, in my mother's life, she suffered with mental illness. So I think around the time I was 13, maybe I was going to middle school, and my mom had her first breakdown, and I became her enemy. Shoot, me and my daddy, I guess I look more like my daddy. So out of her 3 children, I became her enemy. And I don't know so much if it was the enemy or what, but I became something that she, she fought against a lot. So
Mhm.
it took me all the way into her death, So from 13 to my now age, I tell people I'm 46 and 3/4. I'm gonna be 47 in a couple of months. I was still dealing with my mother's mental illness. So I had to continue to forgive my mother because she could come on Sunday and bust out my window. Then after they get her off her 72-hour hold, she needed a place to stay. You understand
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So people can say, well, that was your mother. It was easy. No, it wasn't always easy. No. And then I've had people to just say, oh, I couldn't do that. So God had to use that situation to show me forgiveness. So I had to keep forgiving my mother. So if I can forgive my mother for the things that she has done, even in her mental illness, it kind of made it easier to forgive other people. But I will say, my mother got them passes because she was my mother. You understand what I'm saying? So I've heard you say a lot of times, like, you can forgive people, but you don't still have to keep them in your inner circle. If the person keep doing the same thing. If you come to my house, I had somebody come to my house years ago and steal a ring from me. They can't walk through the spot easily no more. You understand what I'm saying? So when they come over here, I forgave you. You can still come, get you some water, get you some crackers, get you a sandwich, but you can't run about easy like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I forgive people, and I don't want to always say I remember when, I remember that, because that's not true forgiveness.
Let's talk about a quick minute here because we have people that are commenting and stuff like this, and I believe that you are helping a lot of people because you're being transparent at this moment. Not everybody knows this story, all right? And this is
Okay.
one of the things that we talked about being safe, that I was not going to push you in this area unless this is where you wanted to go, because I understand the pain that you had to deal with. Can you talk to people tonight and explain to them how hurt you were, how hurt you felt from the age of 13 to the age of 46? Can you describe how you felt? Can you talk about your pain at that moment, at those times?
Tears. Like I've had a lot of tears,
Uh-huh.
tears, probably sourness. I'm sure somebody probably can say maybe I was sour. But then again, I've gotten a lot of people when I did finally tell them the things that I went through with my mother, they would be like, you don't even show that. You don't even show that. Maybe when I was going through high school, I went through a sour patch to where I had two friends that I really hung with, and I just shook them for a couple of weeks. I didn't say nothing to them. I didn't hang with them. I didn't do the norm. And I think I turned 18, and my dad invited one of them to my birthday party they gave me at the house. And she came, and I had to tell her what was really going on in my life, because that was embarrassing to me then.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing, and it could be embarrassing. My mom went through, man, my mom, man, come on now. Them walls on 82nd and Crenshaw can talk, man. It was embarrassing. So I felt a lot of hurt. I would see mother-daughter relationship, and I oftentimes wanted it, wanted to have that. And I'm not saying that everything with me and my mom were bad. There were some times when things were good. When I graduated from Southwest, I don't know how Sharon got to that graduation, but my mother was at the graduation, suited and booted, and she came to support. She went to
Was she rocking one of her hats? Was she rocking one of her hats?
She had on a hat and a suit. And I was like, Mama, you got here. So there were times when she tried to push past. So she went to the hospital with me to have Jasmine. She didn't stay. She got sleepy. Then my dad came and took over. When I had Jalea, she came to the hospital the next day. Matter of fact, she gave Jalea her middle name. So we had some good times. But I've always experienced hate, with her. I've experienced hurt. I've experienced time when I just wanted to downright put my hands on her and not praying for her. I'm talking about these, and she probably would have won because my mama was, hey, it was what it was. But I've experienced a lot of hurt. I think it made me a different mother, with my kids, because my nickname, and I'll say it. My mother started calling me Bees when I was in middle school. You know what I'm saying? She started calling me Bees when I was in middle school. Man, I could write a story and make people cry, but I didn't always give the sad side of my life. You know, I just went out there and I did what I had to do. I thank God for my family, my mother and my father's side of the family. You know, when they knew something was wrong, you know, they helped out, you know, they came through whatever. My grandmother's prayers got me through. Of course, my dad was in the house, so big up to my dad. You know, my dad had to play a motherly role because my mother was ill. And then I had to step up and play a motherly role because my mother was ill. So it was we had good times and I had bad times. But because forgiveness is in my heart, and because I know that God forgave me for the crazy stuff I said, done, thought, and even still do, I had to forgive her. I left her alone at times. There would be times when I left her alone, like, stay over there, don't come over here, don't come over here. But the longer I made her stay away, the deeper she fell into something else.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this question here before we go further into this. What were you looking for from your mom? Were you looking for mom to just wrap her arms around you? Were you looking for her to apologize? What were you really looking for through those difficult times?
Probably a little bit of everything, you know, just to be a mother, you know. Just it would probably be hard to say. Maybe, you know, like I said, there were times when things were good. So, you know, probably just to be a regular mother. Do something regular. Just do something without tripping. Do something without making me be your trigger. She's apologized a lot of times to me. Like, Jackie, I'm sorry for how I did you. And I can truly say that I believe that she meant that. So that's why I had to forgive her. But I mean, as a kid, what do kids look for from their parents? You know, love. I mean, she gave us that. She gave us, my mother would spend her and my daddy's rent money to buy us a camel if she felt like she can get us a camel. That's just what she did. You know what I mean? Right. So she had some issues in her mind, but she wasn't the worst. You know, she cooked. She showed me how to cook. She showed me how to take care of my body. She showed me how to, you know, do the simple things in life that a lot of young ladies don't know how to do. You know, this is how you do this. This is how, when I started my menstrual, this is what you do. This is what you don't do. This is how you do. This is how girls do. So she did what she had to do in and out of her, you know, her trigger life. You know, her life was triggered, and I was one of her triggers, as somebody just said. But all in all, from 21, when she and my father divorced, I had to really stand on forgiving that lady. I really did. And I can tell you guys, so many blessings have come into my life because I had to forgive my mother. So if I can, I mean, my mother, just in a quick synopsis, she took my kids from one of my cousins was babysitting my kids. She took my kids, she took them to the hospital. She told them I was abusing them. I had to meet with the social services. She called one of my job, man. I was teaching preschool. I was teaching first grade preschool at a school. My mama called the principal, told the principal I was selling dope. Wow. Man, they had me. I'm like, I'm on a bus. If I was selling some yay, I would have me a car. Y'all serious?
Wait, let's hold for a second right there, because a lot of folks who watch you don't know what yay is.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if I was selling drugs, like she told the lady I was selling drugs, I would have had a car. I walked Jasmine in her stroller to the daycare, and I caught the Crenshaw to the green line to the blue line. Those are the things that she's done. I mean, more. I mean, busting out windows. Man, she bust out my window. My brothers was at my house. I was living in Hawthorne. I came home. My big old picture window was broke out. I said, wait a minute. And I wasn't with the Lord. I was going to church with my words. Yeah, I know. You understand what I'm saying? What happened? And I remember my brother said, Mom came over here, bust my window out with a Hoover vacuum, the old school ones with the metal handle and the metal glass everywhere. I was not in a forgiving mood, people of God. I drove down the street because I had a car and she lived down the street from me, and I bust out about 3 or 4 of her windows. I'm gonna be cold, so will you tonight. Let's do it. So that's If I'm gonna be cold tonight, you will too, my love. So she bust out a big picture window. I bust out probably about 2 or 3. You know what I mean? So it was, it was just what it was. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So we've had our moments, but I still would turn around and forgive my mother. I did not always want to forgive my mother, but I had to forgive my mother. If I can forgive her, I can forgive anybody. Yes, I wrestle with forgiveness still, but it's something in me that knows you got to forgive. You got to
That's
forgive.
the crucial part. I taught a series in church. At that time, you wasn't back at the church at that time because you were originally a member of Christ as the Answer Church, and before I became a member of the ministry and became the pastor, you had already been gone. But you would come through Bible study from time to time, and I remember teaching a series entitled "The Power of Unforgiveness." That this spirit of unforgiveness controls us. If we do not forgive, and if we don't forgive quickly, it controls us. And one of the things that I talked about in one of those series on teaching on unforgiveness was that this has to be a lifestyle. When the Bible talks about forgiving give 70 times 7, 490 times, that means he's talking about a lifestyle. It has to be a part of you. Because he's literally painting the picture. Christ is painting the picture of him forgiving us. And you brought out tonight the blessing that you have received because you forgave your mother. Here's a question that's on here tonight. And here's what somebody said. If your mother hadn't have said she was sorry, would you still have forgiven her?
I just read that. Yes. You know why? Because I forgave her for me, not for her. See, so
that's the point. That's the point right there. That's where I'm trying to get to with that. Yeah. Because here's the thing. Sometimes go ahead and come tell me. I got someone to say. Because what happens is with this, Jackie, this is what I kind of wrote down. Do you want an apology? Do you need an apology? Or are you just looking for an apology? See, if you want an apology,
You want an apology. Yeah, depending on the offense, you want an apology. Like you want an apology. I just talked to a brother friend of mine the other day, and I told him because you said sorry, it made me say, okay, you know what I mean? Don't do something to me and don't think you don't have to say sorry. Yes, because you licensed me, I have a title as a minister, but I'm not Jesus. So I can't walk on water, and I'm not going to forgive you 70 times 7 right away. I'm just not. So pray for me and we'll forgive you as time moves on. But if you did something to offend that person, say sorry. You told us the if. Say, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So yes, I would have still forgave my mother because she didn't say sorry all the time. She didn't say sorry right away. I think it was years later. She had to, she stayed with me in every place I had. So she had to stay with me. And she was just in a good mood. And she said, Jackie, I said, yeah. And she said, I'm sorry. I said, sorry for what? I'm sorry for everything I did. But then the cold thing about it, sis turned around the next week and tripped out. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? So yes, I would have forgave her had she not said sorry, because I did. Because I know that I was taught, whether I was taught at church, whether I was taught by my grandmother, my father would always say, Jackie, you got to remember that your mother is sick. You got to remember this. You know what I mean? So we had to live in a household where we had to forgive her. You understand what I'm saying? She sat on the couch while I was getting ready for my prom. And my daddy got my dress and my family was there. It was before the big champagne parties. We had some hot dogs if we had that. And my daddy didn't have no more money for my pictures. And my mama had some money. So my daddy said, well, Sharon, you gonna help with the pictures? She said, no. And her sisters were there. My aunties were there, my auntie Tanya, my auntie Rosalind, my cousins, and everybody had to piece this money together to help me pay for my prom pictures because she just said no. You understand what I'm saying? But did it make me an angry woman? No, I'm not angry because I forgave her for me. I forgave her for me. The biggest thing, and I can say it quick, was when she took my kids and I had to go meet with the social services, you know. I forgave her. I had to meet with the social service. Tangi was there, Shaka was there. We was at the hospital.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh my God, you know, I got to go through all of this and I'm not even responsible for it. The next day or two, I'm at home and her mail came to my house. She gets this envelope. I open it. It's from Los Angeles City, Section 8. Now, she needed that Section 8 because I didn't need her to be with me no more. You understand what I'm saying? So she
Yeah.
needed that Section 8. I could have tore that Section 8 voucher up, threw it in the trash, but I got up with my 2 young children and I went down to Wilshire and I told the lady, look, my mother is in the hospital. I do not want her to lose her Section 8. Whatever I said, it was in 2002. Right. But I went down there on her behalf. You understand? I went down there on her behalf because I had to look out for my mother. I needed to know to make she had her own place. But to show you how God used that situation, and I started more walking in forgiveness, was while I was there, I went up to the lady and I said, well, look, I filled out my mother's Section 8 the same time I filled out my Section 8. But she got hers and I didn't get mine. She said, well, have you moved since then? I said, yeah. She said, oh, give me your social security number. She typed it in. She said, oh, Jacqueline Hankins, yeah. She said, you didn't get your paperwork? I said, what paperwork? She said, you got an appointment to come pick up your voucher. I said, huh? She said, yeah, you have an appointment to come pick up your voucher. So for those that don't understand it, let me break it down to you like this. Had I not forgave my mother, went down there and fought on her behalf so she can keep her voucher when she got out the hospital, I wouldn't have known that my name was up for a voucher. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I was able to walk out there with my packet, and that's how God used it for me to go to school. So when I quit my job, I got Section 8. I was able to pay my rent. I was able to, live off Section 8. You understand what I'm saying? So, But let's just say if I would have sat there, opened her mail, and if I would have said, I ain't doing nothing for her. She just took my kids. You know how we do. Oh, she just, yes. Well, I ain't doing nothing for her. I wouldn't have went down there. I wouldn't have found out that I had an upcoming interview. You understand what I'm saying?
You missed out on your blessing.
I would have missed out on my blessing. So that's why after that, I've always said I have to forgive her because God did not allow me to miss out on my good looking. That's just what that was. It was just good looking. I mean,
but you're right. Let's go for it because I want to go back to this part we said about do you want an apology? Do you need an apology? Or are you just looking for an apology? Now, this is not posed to just you. This is everybody. Now, some of the response that we have gotten so far is that I want an apology. I want to know that you acknowledge that you did wrong. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing that I want to address with people so you can get an understanding of this. You cannot predicate your entire life waiting on somebody to apologize to you. Mm-mm. And that's why so many people are in the situation that they're in today. And that is because you are waiting on somebody else to acknowledge what they did wrong to you. What happens if the person is not here anymore? They died. Are you still going to be waiting on an apology from this individual? See your forgiveness is not predicated on whether that person apologizes to you. Mm-hmm. All right, we watched the clip earlier, a few moments ago, that video clip. Apology is not for your sake. It is for their sake. Mm-hmm. It starts healing for them. See, if you're only going to forgive a person when they apologize, and your forgiveness is not authentic and it is not real. So your forgiveness cannot be predicated on that. It has to be predicated, number one, on your relationship with God. Number two, it has to be predicated on you wanting to live, you wanting to be blessed. There are so many people who are watching me tonight. You are still expecting somebody to apologize to you, and the person has not apologized and may not apologize. May not ever get there. So what are you going to do with your life? Are you just going to sit there? Well, wait, my mama didn't apologize. My daddy didn't apologize. This person didn't apologize. Well, you're putting your life in the hand of somebody else. You're missing out on all of the breakthroughs that God has in store for you because you're still holding the anger and the animosity in your heart because you won't forgive the person. This is the crucial part. Now, listen to this. I know my brother is probably watching. Timothy Price, that's my dude, my brother, man, my blood brother. Now, we have same father, different mother. I didn't grow up with my father in my home with me. I didn't grow up with the relationship with my dad. I didn't grow up with seeing my dad on a regular basis. You understand? But here's the thing. I didn't miss a father. Not because I didn't respect or didn't care about him, but I had another father in the house. My grandfather took care of responsibility. So you know what my grandfather shaped me into doing? Is not having animosity toward my father. So I never had animosity toward my father. Never did. Never had animosity at all. Even when he passed, I didn't have animosity in my heart. When I had a chance to communicate with him and he talked about, hey, I'm sorry for what I didn't do. You know what I did? Hey, it's all good. It's all good. I'm grown now. I cannot allow that stuff to hold me hostage, because if I would have let it hold me hostage, I wouldn't even have a relationship with my brother today.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like we're gathering, getting to know each other. You understand? I can't be responsible for what somebody else does. I can only be responsible for what I do. And if people could get this understanding, sometimes I think Mr. Velo Wright said, what if the apology is not really right? It's deception. We understand that takes place too.
Yeah.
We understand that takes place. But what am I going to do? Am I going to sit here and wait on you to apologize before I forgive? Am I just going to forgive and get on with my life? That's where we have to be at as Christian people, as believers. And we got to stop talking about it's so hard. It's only hard to the person who believes it to be hard.
Yeah, it is. And it you know, I wasn't even in a right walk with God when I was forgiving my mother back then. I mean, I was going to church, but I was just going to church. You know what I mean? We met my grandmother at 7510 South Vermont on Sundays. You understand what I'm saying? But you know what you call it, Saturday through Friday, we party with some hellions. But my grandmama called us, baby. You come in the church, yeah, mama, we be there. You understand what I'm saying? So we was going to church because we knew we had to go, or we were grown. But I made a choice. I made a choice to forgive my mother back then because, first of all, she was sick. But then it would be times she knew what she was doing. You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
But I wasn't gonna walk around here. I've seen what unforgiveness look like in people. They be toe up. They always negative. They're always just mean and snappy. Don't nobody want to be around them. You see them, and then you'll be like, man, here come dude. Let me roll, because you know what I mean. Just always. Yeah. And I'm not gonna say I was always the cherry on the top of the ice cream. I had my issues. You understand what I'm saying? Of course. I was going through some stuff, but I didn't let it dictate who I was. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I made some mistakes in it. You know, I remember my girl sat me down and they said, Mama, you always yelling and this and this and that. And I'm like, well, I'm just doing what I thought I knew to do. Just yell and just get the response you want. You understand? Because that's all I heard was a lot of screaming sometimes. Right. You understand what I'm saying? But I realized that I don't want to be one of those persons that's sour. I don't want to be one of those persons that walk around with a chip on my shoulder for everything. I could have milked my mother's thing. I could have milked that thing like, well, you know, my mother has a mental issue, and I could have went to the counselors at school. I could have went around. I could have told everybody. I could have did this, but I didn't. Why? I had my family. You understand what I'm saying? I had my father. My father worked 2 jobs, but he would still do extra stuff. It was my brothers and myself. We did what we needed to do. You know, we can get away. We can go spend the night at our family member's house. We can do certain things. You know, so I didn't have to wear what I was going through. And it was times when I would
wait. Let's stop right there. That's a word right there. You said I did not have to wear what I was going through.
No, you not. And I'm saying, yes, I've had time when I was sour, then some salt with some lemon on top. Some lemon with the salt. I was sour, but it was because I didn't know how to express what I was going through. I didn't know how to express might hurt. I didn't know how, I can talk to people. I can get out here. I can, get me some Cisco, because that was my thing back in the days. You understand what I'm saying? I go get me. I go get me some Cisco, sit on the block with my auntie Tanya and Sean, and we be out there doing our thing. But I still had something in me. You understand what I'm saying? Uh-huh. And I would always give credit, of course, to my dad, because at times he was like a single dad. You understand what I'm saying? But then I would give credit to my grandmother, rest in peace, Tommy McClellan, because she knew she had to check in on me as a girl. You know what I mean? My father can handle so much with my boys, my brothers, because he was a man. But I didn't feel right telling my daddy I was on my menstruation, even though he knew, even though he, you know what I'm saying? So it was good. But as I became a mother, I've heard my aunties tell me, girl, you just like your mother. Why? Because my mama kept, all my cousins would say the same thing. Man, you go to Auntie Sharon's house, she always got name brand cereal. My mother kept us some snacks. So like I said at my mother's funeral, I fashioned some of my motherhood from my mother. You understand what I'm saying? I told my daughters what I had to learn. My mother tells us, you wash your hands up to your elbow if you do number 2. It was just certain things she said, and it was, I just chose not to wear what I'm going through. I just chose not to be sour all the time. Forgiveness is the best for me. Like I said, maybe I'll hold a grudge for a while, but eventually I'm going to let it go. You understand what I'm saying?
You are saying a mouthful right now. You are saying a mouthful, because I got to hold on to that. I'm going to put that in my notes. That you said, I don't have to wear what I'm going through. Boy, there's some stuff going in my head right now that I can preach some stuff on that right there. I'm telling you, you said, I don't have to wear what I'm going through. And there are many people who are watching us tonight who are wearing their issues and wearing their problems, and everybody can see it. Everybody can see it. Everybody can see what it is that they're wearing. Yeah. It comes out in the form of insecurity.
Yeah,
it comes out in the form of, you said it earlier, a nasty attitude, snappy attitude. Nobody wants to be around you because everybody can see it in you. It's I see what you mean. You wear this stuff. Yeah. And what we want to do is get you free tonight. That's what we want to do. We want to get you free. Jackie, I got to tell you tonight how proud I am of you. How proud I am of you. To be able to come on here and share your stories and to be authentically you, and I'm telling you how proud I am of you tonight for being on here. We got a few more moments left, and I kind of want to hear the question here. Well, not a question, a question that I kind of wrote down here tonight. What advice would you give your younger self as it relates to forgiveness? What advice did you give your younger self as it relates to forgiveness and unforgiveness? What advice would you give?
I would have forgave more quickly.
If you were talking to your younger self, that's what you would have said.
Yeah, I would say forgive more quickly, because the time that I held on to whatever I may have been going through, then that's lost time. So maybe when I was younger and my mother made me mad, and I probably could have went in the room and combed her hair or did something with my mother, I could have missed that time, or whoever you mad at. I'm gonna tell y'all we won it. I've been mad at my daddy for the last couple of months, but I've been texting my daddy lately because I love my daddy. But Pops I should have been Myron Jr. He say stuff and he forget who he talks to, and I say stuff, I forget who I'm talking to. We more alike. So I love my daddy. So I've been reaching out to my daddy, and I've been telling my daddy this too shall pass. You understand what I'm saying? But I would tell my younger self, forgive more quickly, because it's time wasted. It's time wasted.
Somebody's trying to get in contact with you behind you.
Yeah, that's my little brother. Yeah, so it's good. It's good. It's like, forgive more quickly. I would forgive more quickly. I wouldn't waste time holding on grudges. You can be mad at somebody today and say, I'm gonna call them tomorrow. Then they die. And then you miss that opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? You miss that opportunity. Don't miss the opportunity waiting for a long time to forgive. Don't miss the opportunity. So it's like, forgive so you could smile. Forgive so you don't be weighed down. I mean, I wore my stress, being stressed and being depressed. I was a size 24, 26. I was just wearing it, eating it. Then I'm like, man, now I'm type 2 diabetic. You know what I'm saying? My auntie on my daddy's side lost her toe. I don't want to go through that. So I'm walking 2-3 miles a day. You already said I'm a nester. Jalea gonna be 19 next Wednesday. Jasmine just made 23. I put my dog in the kennel. I go do what I do. Forgive quicker. Forgive. I don't care if you got to find somebody and just text them today and be like, you know what? Let's squash it. I forgive you. Let's move on. You may not go to Yard House with them on Friday, but at least you know you forgave them for you. You understand what I'm saying? At least you know you forgave them for you. I'm not perfect. Like I said, I've been walking around here mad, oh man. But then I'm like, wait a minute. I was reading something in my studies. I do a lot of devotionals on forgiveness because I have to know that I have to forgive. And it says, do not walk around here in unforgiveness. You will clog your blessing pipes. Boom. That made me say, oh no.
I ain't gonna miss nothing else.
I'm not going to miss no blessings. I'm believing God for a house and me a boo thing. Man, I got to get me out. This dog ain't working.
Yeah, I always give an example about Andy Griffith's show. Mm-hmm. And I always talk about how they had a town drunkard, Otis. Mm-hmm. And what Otis would do is when he got drunk on the weekends, Otis would come to the police station. Otis would walk in staggering, walk in and speak to Barney and speak to Andy. Walk up next to the jail cell, grab the key, unlock the door, the jail cell door, walk in, close the door, reach his arm back through the bars and hang the key back up. He would put himself in jail until he sobered up. Once he sobered up, he would reach out of the bars, grab the key, unlock the jail cell door, walk out, and then close the door and hang the key back up and walk out. See, when you harbor unforgiveness, what you're doing is you're acting like Otis. You are putting you in jail. And the only person that can let you out of jail is you.
Yeah.
Barney didn't have to let him out of jail. No, go ahead.
No, and let me say this, Pastor. You could be mad at somebody and they don't even know why you mad at them no more. Like, what you mad at them for? Oh, man, I remember 10 years ago, man, as soon as somebody attached a date and it's longer than months, I'm like, man, you let that go. I said, man, you got to let that go, man. You can't trip on that, man. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't trip on that. This is how I look at it. And this is just real. If I can forgive men that I've dealt with in a physical sense, you understand what I'm saying? What do I not look like forgiving my mama or my family? Auntie Tanya is my auntie. You gotta be ready to forgive her. She off the chain. You understand what I'm saying? Laugh out loud on here. So I have to forgive my family. I have to forgive things. I didn't forgive Big Mike. I didn't forgive Dude. And they came back and they sweet talked me and we did our thing, whatever. I'm 46. I'm gonna tell the truth. So what I look like forgiving them to let them back in my life, but I won't forgive the people that really are in my corner. You understand? My family, my mother, my children. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't care who it is. If it's an old teacher, if it's an old neighbor, you have to forgive people. I smile more today. Yes, I lost my mom 4 months ago. I miss her truly. But you know what I say? If she was here, what's the day? The 22nd, in about 10 more days, she was going to be calling set tripping because I didn't bring her check on the first. So I love my mother. You know what I mean? But God has released some stuff from me. So I'm not going to say, oh, she did this to me. She did this to me. She did this to me. Somebody told me, well, why I didn't have the money to properly put her away right at first. Well, why you doing all of that? Just do this. I said, let me tell you something. That was my mama. I honored her in her life. I'm going to honor her in her death. So the Bible says to honor. You understand? So I'm blessed. My mother, we put her away nice. My family come through, my church family, my friends. And I'm sorry to say, but when it was all over, your girl still had about close to 3 G's left. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying, do forgive people. Do forgive people. Do forgive
You know-
people. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. Do forgive people.
Well, you know, your pastor always teaches things along this line that sometimes God knows how to relieve us of pressure, and we have to be okay with that.
Mhm.
Hey, here's another question we got to ask before we get ready to get out of here. What would you like the viewers to learn from tonight's podcast? What would you like the viewers to learn from tonight's podcast?
That forgiveness is not going to always be easy. It's not going to always come right away. Trust you me. I just said I'm yet dealing with some stuff now that I'm working on. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to always be easy, but anything that you have to wrestle for, anything that you have to fight for, that means it has to be some right in it. You understand? If it's a spiritual, if it's an innate thing, if it's inside of you, and man, I know I had to make this right with my daddy because I haven't talked to my daddy really. You understand? So I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm praying, I'm talking to God, I'm reading my Bible apps. I can't forgive Do Rag and Do Dirty, and I ain't forgave Big Myron, and that's my father. You understand what I'm saying? So I just tell you guys, forgiveness won't come easy. Forgiveness may seem hard, but it's attainable. Do it. I see people that done me wrong, ex-friends, ex-dudes, ex-whoever, and I could look at them and I could hold up the peace sign. What it do? Peace out. You understand what I'm saying? I just ran into an ex not too long ago. Dude asked me to marry him. I'm like, man, you got me twisted. Man, I forgive you. You ain't forgiving me. I said, man, I forgave you, baby. It's a new season. You understand what I'm saying? So when you forgive people, you have control. So if you forgive people, you can have control. If you don't forgive them, they're gonna control you. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I leave you with.
Listen, I told y'all she more like a pastor than what y'all can imagine.
I walk through now. You almost on the cane, bro. I'm like, nah, that we ain't compatible. The Holy Spirit. I said, man, I ain't heard that. The Holy Spirit ain't told me nothing. Boy, get out of here. But I forgive you though. But I told him, I said, but I forgive you though. I forgive you. And you know what? I forgive people enough to speak to them. I forgive people enough to, if they call on me for something, I'm going to be there for them. You understand what I'm saying? So forgive yourself.
You know, the thing that I've always acknowledged the mother that you are. I always tell your testimony about how when your daughter graduated, KIPP Academy, how you would allow this person up in there. Mm-hmm. And somebody was sitting there, you know, wanting you to be like, I wish you'd be quiet, all this type of stuff. And and they don't know that I'm with you, that I'm, you know, that my wife and I are there, and that I'm your pastor, you know, and they don't know how protective I am over my members. You understand? So it took everything in me not to G-check her. You understand? Mm-hmm. But I had to explain to her, it wasn't just your daughter who graduated that day. It was you too. You graduated too. And you have a right to shout. You have a right to be crazy, because your hard work is paying off.
Yes, sir. Pastor, let me interrupt you and say, you always tell that story, which is cool, because I had the whistle. I was blowing the whistle. But you always forget this part. If they called for 5 awards that day, Jalea got every last one.
She should. Now, I didn't know that part. I forgot all about that part.
Yeah, so you can't leave that out. So,
all right, we're gonna add that next time.
Yeah, if they called 6 awards, she got 5 3/4. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was there, because as a mother, I had to pull this boat by myself. Bam used to always say a tight ship. I didn't always run a tight ship. It was certain things that they got away with. It was certain things that they do. But I don't have bad kids. Yes, we had some struggles. Yes, we had this, we had that. But Jasmine is 23. My baby went to school. It wasn't for her. She's going back. She just took a test to drive for NTA. You understand? Then she got another interview the other day to be a parking enforcer for Inglewood. Jalea's at Cerritos. She's working. You know what I'm saying? They like everybody's kids on here. They have their issues. You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
But I know without a shadow of a doubt that I have good girls. No matter what they're going through, no matter what it looked like, I give it to God. They had to forgive me for the mistakes I made as a mother, and we chill. We went yesterday and took us a boat ride in San Pedro. You understand what I'm saying? We do what we do together. But you have to forgive your kids, you have to forgive your family, you have to forgive your coworkers, you have to forgive everybody around you. I live in an apartment building. I gotta forgive my neighbor. Sometimes I'll be like, man, if he say something, I'm gonna go get dude dirty on him. I was gonna call my Uncle Danielle on one of them. I said, I'm gonna go call my uncle out here, but it ain't worth it. You understand? I forgave dude and I just keep it moving. You understand what I'm saying? Forgive and keep it moving. It may be hard, but forgive and keep it moving. Be proud of who you are. Don't let your past hurts. Don't let your past failures. Don't let the past things. I haven't always had good self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? Certain things people said about me, certain things, I let that attach to me. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
But now I'm like, I see some of them same ones that made me feel less than them. They look all old. You know what I'm saying? They got a whole lot of booty do. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, you sitting up here looking like you just had, triplets and stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's good. It's like, it's good. Forgive people and live for yourself.
One other thing I want you to add in this before we get to the next question is you talked about forgiving other people, forgiving family members, forgiving neighbors, forgiving friends. Here's the other thing I want you to add in there. Forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a lot of people don't do is they don't forgive themselves.
You have
Mistakes
to.
that we make, you have to forgive yourself.
That's where it starts. That's where it starts. If I couldn't forgive myself, I can't forgive somebody else. So I forgive myself. I had to sit down and tell Jalea the true story of me and their father. I said, man, I forgave dude. I need you to forgive dude. This is what it was. Dude came off, whoop, whoop, bam. Because I talked to him, bam, bam, bam. That's what happened. So forgive him because I have. You understand what I'm saying? Right. I forgive myself. I forgive myself for treating myself less than. I forgive myself for allowing men to mag me that I know really didn't want nothing but one thing, so it made me be like that. I know what you want. This is what I want. But then I had to forgive myself because I'm more than that now. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like,
see, this is what makes you a good minister. This is what makes you a good minister.
You have to
because you are
yourself.
You're authentically you. But listen, let me get to this last question. And then we're gonna get ready to get off of here.
Yes, sir.
You've been talking about your daughters. What would you like your daughters to learn from you as it relates to forgiveness and unforgiveness? What would you like for them to learn from you as it relates to forgiveness and unforgiveness?
What would I like for them to know? To learn from it that they can forgive no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. My kids have seen some of the things that my mother had put me through. Just in the last year when we went to visit her, Jasmine was like, for the first time I saw grandma do that. And Jalea used to call her OG. She was like, OG, quit all that. Quit all that. Ain't nobody else helping you. Quit all that. So I would just want them to take on that. You can forgive no matter what, whether you was raped, abused, hurt by your mother, your father. Mothers are supposed to be protectors. Mothers are supposed to be nourishers. So if I had to go through the abuse, whether it was physical, mental, or verbal from my mother, even in her sickness, and I had to forgive and walk alongside of her, man, y'all can forgive the stuff that y'all been through. You understand me? Yeah. You have to forgive. I'm telling you, you forgive Do Dirty Nim. You forgive Do-Rag them and Felicia them. You can forgive everybody else.
And that is the crucial part in what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm telling you, I am a proud pastor tonight. You've done an exceptional job. I'm proud of you. I didn't want you to be anybody but yourself. And I believe that you touched a lot of lives tonight. And I believe sky's the limit for you. I believe that you went through a lot of the stuff you went through. Mm-hmm. Because of the great blessing that's God has in store for you. Mm-hmm. The devil only attacks people like this that have something great in them.
Yeah.
You didn't really want to do this podcast, but the thing that I can honestly say about you is that you were obedient to me. When I said to you, I didn't ask you if you wanted to do it. I said, you're going to do this podcast on this particular day at this particular time. And you was like, Pastor, no. And the reason this is because I know the legacy that is in you, that has been passed down from your grandmother. It's inside of you. You have more to offer than what you can realize and what you can imagine. Maybe one day you'll write your story and your story can become a bestseller. Maybe one day you'll write your story and your story will become a book that can transform the lives of people.
Yeah.
But God has great things in store for you. So I want you to know how proud my wife and I are of you. To sit back and just watch you go is amazing to me. But I see how God is blessing your life. And so
Yeah.
listen, we're getting ready to get out of here tonight. I'm going to leave y'all with a video for about a 4 or 5 minute video. I need you to tune into this video. It's going to bless your life. But listen,
Can I
do
say
me, yes,
something real fast?
sure,
Can I, listen,
sure.
I just want to leave you. I had screenshotted this, and it's a quick. It just says the presence of your pain is not the. Hold on. The presence of your pain is not the absence of the loving Heavenly Father. We learn more about the presence of God in the valley than we will ever learn on the mountaintop. So the
Wow.
valleys that I've been through, I think if I didn't go through all of this stuff, I wouldn't depend and trust God like I do. So
But look
we
at where
learn
you are.
more about him in the valley than we learn on top. If everything was always well in my life, I probably wouldn't be hungry for God. So I can leave them with that. You got to look at your valley like,
Yeah.
elevation.
Listen, I want y'all to do us a favor tonight. I'm asking you guys to do something for us tonight. Get a seed in the ground tonight. This seed is not for me tonight. This seed is for Jackie tonight. I want you to get a seed in the ground tonight. I'm going to ask her to give us her Cash App information, and I'm going to put our church's Cash App up there as well. And listen, I always treat my guests with the utmost respect when they come on our podcast. And listen, if you've been helped by the things that she said tonight, you can sow this. You can sow a seed, whatever the seed may be, to our church's Cash App. If you don't have Jackie's Cash App, and what you want to do is in the memo line or the for line, I want you to write Jackie Hankins. We will make sure that she gets everything that has been sent to her. We are a church. We are a church that prides itself on integrity and character. Is what we do. Now, if you put a seed in here and you don't put that it's for Jackie, then it'll actually just go straight to the church. You understand? We do want you to sow a seed tonight to be able to help in the podcast so that we can be able to expand and be able to have more views and things like that and be able to have some amazing stuff. But don't forget, you can get your seed in the ground tonight as well. You can also do it through Givelify. If you go on Givelify, you can I think Minister Kim can help me with this. If you go on Givelify, I think you can put on the memo line. If you're just giving a regular general offering, you can put it in the memo line that it is for Jackie Hankins. And we want to make sure that she gets it because I believe that she's touching the lives of people tonight. All right. And so, yeah, she's put her information on the screen here so far. So y'all do us a favor and please do us a favor.
I wasn't going, but I'm like, nah.
So get it in the ground tonight. We greatly, greatly appreciate y'all for doing that. And Jackie, again, I want to say thank you so much for being on tonight. I think you did an amazing job. I really do. So what we're going to do is we're going to also put that information on the screen as well tonight so that people can get a seed in the ground for you. Treasure taught me how to put this stuff in here really quickly. So that's how stuff is appearing on the screen really quickly. And so listen, but we want to pray for people tonight. And then what we want to do is we're going to leave you with a good video. Don't go anywhere. You want to watch this video. It will encourage your faith and starve your doubts. But let me pray for you tonight. And again, hey, I want y'all to reach out to Jackie too and tell her tonight that she did a great job. If you got to personally do what you got to do, Kingdom Life Faith Center, you know we love on our members. We love on our members and we support our members. So, hey, y'all show her some love. And Pastor will be having his seed into you in just a moment too. So listen, we love you. So you know we love you. And so listen, I'm getting ready to pray. We're going to dismiss y'all, but we're going to dismiss you with a video tonight. So don't go anywhere, all right? You got to hear this video, all right? It'll bless your life. It's a video where Rihanna talks about forgiving Chris Brown for the things he did to her. So Father, in the name of Jesus, we just thank you just for the blessing, God, that you have bestowed tonight. We thank you, Lord, that the words that were spoken tonight will be encouraging and edifying and uplifting to the people. We thank you, Lord, that there are people who are watching us tonight who have been made free because of your servant's words tonight. Let those words not fall on deaf ears, but let them fall into the good grounds of our heart so that we might produce a fruit that's pleasing in your sight. And Lord, I thank you right now that people's hearts and minds are being transformed and changed in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. So listen, don't forget, Jackie's information is on the screen. Get that seed in the ground tonight. And y'all talk to other people about what she said. Get people to come back and watch this video. It'll be live on the church app. As soon as this is over with, you'll be able to go watch it back on Facebook again, on YouTube, all those places. You'll be able to get it on Periscope TV and Twitter. you'll be able to get it. So y'all watch this tonight, all right? So let me get this video in tonight, and we're dismissing y'all. But don't go anywhere until you see this video, all right?
All right. Good night, everybody.
A lot of people thought that Chris hitting you was unforgivable. Have you forgiven him?
I have forgiven him. It took me a long time. I was angry for a long time. I felt like this is not my fault. This is not me doing this, and still I have to like worry and you know, all those kinds of, I was resentful. I held a grudge. I was dark. I was angry, and it was coming out in my music. It was coming out in my clothes. It was coming out in my attitude. And I didn't like that feeling. It was heavy. It was heavy.
What'd you do to get over it?
Here they come again. Repaired my relationship with my dad.
Your dad.
I was so angry at him. And I was just angry about a lot of things from my childhood, and I couldn't separate him as a husband from him as a father. I felt like he was a bad husband, he was a bad father.
Because you watched him do some bad things to your mom.
Yeah, I witnessed a child in my household.
Was he violent?
Yes, he was. And you know, my family broke up because of the addiction, his addiction. But I remember just one day, like, thinking, why can't I come to a place where I let somebody in? Why can't I, like, love? Like, I couldn't love. Like, I would get to a place, I would get far, and I would talk to guys, and I would like them. And then the minute I start to really like them, it's like, blank. Don't even call. Don't even, nope, change. Don't even, my address, never seen them again, never talked to them again.
You would do that?
Yeah.
Because
I wanted to know why. I wanted to know why, and I would think, what is my idea of what's supposed to happen? Like, and it was because I wasn't having a relationship with my father completely, so I wasn't able to connect with a man, and you know, past a certain point, and then I was able to realize, like, my father was probably one of the best fathers in the world. Like, he taught me everything. And as to my mom, at times, it didn't compare to how great he was as a father. And I had to come to terms with that. And I was able to close that gap with him. And all kinds of emotions started happening. All kinds of things started making sense. A lot of, I thought I hated Chris. And I realized it was love that was tarnished. It looked like hate because it was ugly, inflamed, it was tainted. And I realized what it was is I had to forgive him because I cared about him still. And the minute I let go of that, like, I started living again.
Peace with your father,
Peace with my father.
and then you were able to make peace with Chris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you realized the connection between
Yes.
what your father had done and what Chris had done.
Yes.
Yeah. Because, you know, in all father-daughter relationships, it's the first way any girl, child, learns what it means to be loved by a man.
That's where I got the connection between the two. And then I had to go to the source. Like, why?
The bottom line is you have moved on from that incident, 2009, where you were abused and he was arrested, even though you know that that will follow probably both of you for the rest of your lives.
Yes.
And is that what you want the world to know?
I
You
have
have
to.
moved on.
Yeah, I mean, I have to move on. And, you know, as I said, it happened to me, so I can't tell people how to feel about it. They're entitled to feel angry because it wasn't a good thing, you know, that happened.
But you have forgiven him.
But I have. I have. And that's my personal thing.
And your forgiving him does not mean that you are weak or that you are a victim or that you are...
And that's what I had to realize.
All right, everybody. We wanted to leave that video with you tonight. I pray you were blessed. I pray you were encouraged tonight. Thank y'all again for being on tonight. I really do appreciate every one of you. Don't forget, you can get that seed in the ground tonight. And we greatly appreciate everything that you have done. Thank y'all so much for listening to this video and viewing this video. Feel free to share it, like it, tag, invite, and start watching tonight with it. All right. Hey, we love y'all. We got to go, and we will see y'all again tomorrow morning. Hey, in the backyard with Pastor Perriman and Bible study tonight. We'll see y'all. All right. Be blessed in Jesus' name.